Good morning, my people. What's good? Big up to everyone coming in. It's your boy, Mark, and MUFC fan, guys. And you know what it is? It's a difficult morning, some difficult news. There's some talk about some transfer standoffs, guys. But you know what? Let's talk about what's actually happening and what MUFC is ready to do because MUFC has earmarked 8 players that they are willing and open to hearing offers for this summer. Let's get this out of the way, guys. Big up, it's your boy coming in, and it's Mark, an MUFC fan, with the update, guys. Let's get right into the show. Big up to all of you. Bro, big up to all of you coming in. Let's get right this on the road. And the report claims that United are keen to move on 7 of the players to raise funds for their signing. And you know what, guys? It's interesting because I think a lot of these players are on our list as dead wood, and we want them out of the club. So United about to move them on should be good news for everyone involved, including myself. I think it's going to be very interesting. Now, there are some players on this list that may not be moved on because it might not be realistic in this moment. But at the same time, guys, it's one of those things where, hopefully United could get some business done, get some more players out of the door, bring in some new fresh faces to rejuvenate the energy and the spirit of the team. Guys, there's also a winter transfer window in January. So I know it's 6 months away. I won't talk about that yet. But who doesn't leave now? Let's hope they leave then because we're doing good business and Ineos are being very, very efficient. I know the transfers have sort of slowed down in this moment, but it's mostly due to the parent clubs trying to be very difficult and standoffish in the negotiations, which we are still locked in. I would report to you that from Germany this morning, live from Florian Plettenberg, Manchester United are still locked in negotiations for Ligt, and we're still locked in negotiations for Manuel Ugarte. Yes, we have entered the race for Fofana, but that report I will bring to you guys just a little bit later. Big up to you guys. Let's get into this. And we're willing to offload 7 players to fund further transfers. We already completed the signing of Leny Yoro and Joshua Zirkzee, and now it's time to raise more funds for new arrivals. United are ready to lift into offers for Wan Bissaka, who has been earmarked for somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 million pounds. Offers open for approval. Big up to that. Victor Lindelof possibly open to leave. And yet, guys, I've been hearing some reports coming out from Turkey that, Galatasaray as well as Jose Mourinho and Fenerbahce are interested in this guy. So he might be leaving. It might be in a free somewhere in the region of 5 to 9 million pounds. Guys, I know it's a bit low, but it's something we might have to do to get him out of the club to open up space. At the same time, Christian Eriksen has also placed on that list to be moved out of the club, guys. And it's going to be interesting to see if he does get himself gone. And it's one of those things, guys, where I'm not expecting a huge fee for Christian Eriksen. Anything above 2 or 3 million, it's an easy deal to do. We got him on a free. We will recoup some funds and also create space in the wage bill. If we were to move on these 3 players, guys, we would be freeing up somewhere in the region of £500,000 per week in total wages. It's going to be interesting to see if this can be done, guys, and it will definitely help our transfers going forward as well as our operations. They are also reportedly open on letting Harry Maguire leave. I know a lot of you are interested in having him leave the club. He's been a stalwart last season, but that maybe doesn't excuse the last 2 seasons of poor form. You know what I mean? All the own goals and the bad performances. But what I can say, he has shown some good mentality and strength to keep his head down, work hard, and provide the output that he did last season. Now, guys, maybe that might last season might have raised his value. You know, there was an offer coming in from West Ham last season, somewhere in the region of £30 million. The issue for the deal was his wages. West Ham weren't able to cover his wages, and Harry Maguire was standing on business. He wanted his P's. So, guys, it's going to be interesting to see if we get him moved on. As you know, there's lots of, opportunities in the market, possibly with some players moving on, like Max Kilman might be, leaving a hole in the Wolves team that Harry Maguire could possibly fit in. Maybe even go to Everton or maybe another club. You know what I mean? There's some interesting dilemmas coming in. There's also some clubs coming up that might be interested in his services. An experienced Premier League professional who can play a low mid block very, very well. Former England, another England international as well. So it's going to have a little bit, of, how should I put it, pull for some clubs to want his services. Guys, Antony has also been on the list, possibly for a loan. We know that from his performance last season, there might not be much clubs of interest that were willing to come and pay. It's definitely going to be a fee at a loss if we were to sell him. At the same time, a loan might be possible. I will not advise it because, in my honest opinion, I feel like unless he's super successful, it will immediately drop his value even further. But at the same time, United are open to listening to offers. What are your thoughts on these guys? What are your thoughts? Get in the comments. Big up to you, Mental Ball Game. I hope you're well, my brother. What's going on? What's going on? Casimir, good morning, guys. Hope you're well. Good morning in the UK. Mark, Kahoot Fridays. We're definitely going to be there. I know I missed it the last few weeks, but I will be there on Friday. It's going to be live. Get ready for the return. You know what I'm saying? Big up. We need more signings. Glad we're cooking and acting like a big club. 100%. Yeah, football philosophy is coming in. I think Antony is more likely to be alone. Big up to you, Lord Voldemort. Yeah, morning, Marcus. How you're doing, my bro? I hope you guys are all well, and I hope you guys are liking the news that is coming out right now, because definitely, guys, we're going to need some players to be moved on. We need to clear the dead wood. You know what I mean? They're also, Scott Mctomminay, guys, we have already received some offers for Scott McTominay. Some of them were deemed too low by Manchester United, but I think that's a matter of course. After scoring his most goals in a season and having one of his best in the Premier League so far, Scott McTominay should not be sold for 70 million. I probably would take it, but at the same time, I'm thinking from a perspective of, if you look at some of the other players being moved around, they haven't even scored a goal in the Premier League and they're being sold for 20 million. Maybe we should be getting at least 30, 35 for the Scotsman. Let's see what's happening. I know there's some heavy interest coming in recently from Fulham. There's also interest coming in from Galatasaray, although they are not probably the likely ones to be able to afford to meet the demands of Manchester United. Sorry about that, guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. They offered somewhere in the region of 20 million euros, and that's nowhere near what United is asking for. We're standing on business this summer, and I think United are demanding somewhere in the region of £35 million to open negotiations. Now, this leaves room for one or two other Premier League clubs that are set to be interested in the Scotsman, one of them being Tottenham Hotspurs. And if you know, Tottenham Hotspurs have not really been signing anyone. They have not signed any midfielders yet. And the longer they take, from advisory from a lot of the top tier one sources, is that Scott McTominay will be their final and premier option for that position. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if West Ham were to come in for the midfielder. Edson Alvarez is injured and he may not be able to come into the team in a suitable timing because that was a long-term injury. So let's see how it goes. If West Ham come back in for Scott McTominay, it's going to be interesting, and we are looking forward to seeing that deal be done. Jadon Sancho, guys, there are reports coming out that Jadon Sancho is heavily interested in going to PSG. He is very much interested in the offer. He's excited about departure. There are one or two other Premier League clubs that are also interested in him. Juventus has earmarked him as their prime target to replace Nicolas Soule, who was just sold. There's also rumors coming out that they are trying to move on Federico Chiesa to make room for the winger as their top earner. It's also going to be interesting to see because there's other clubs like Dortmund who are willing to take him on a loan, but not willing to pay the money up front. You know what I mean? And there's maybe some interest coming in from Germany as well. I know there's definitely interest in the player. He did impress while on term last when he was playing for Dortmund in the last few months, as well as in the Champions League finals. Now, to some fans like me, his performances were okay, but they weren't really that amazing. But I'm glad that he has raised interest in his talents. Now, if he stays and he's worked things out with Erik ten Hag, I would like for them to have a blossoming relationship going forward, because it's one of those things. He's a talented player, but he has not shown that talent and grit for Manchester United. So if he can find that form, guys, United wins, and that's the bottom line. But if he doesn't, he needs to go. And you know what? If he's interested in the deal with PSG, that makes it a bit sweeter, because Manchester United have said to be interested in a swap deal, guys. So let's talk about that for a second. You know what I mean? Sancho swap deal is an option as PSG make interest known. Now, Manchester United could, as part of a potential swap deal, sign Manuel Ugarte from Paris Saint-Germain. United are in negotiations with PSG over a deal to sign Ugarte, who's valued at around 70 million euros at the Parc des Princes, which is 58.9 million pounds. Now, the 23-year-old is the Red Devils' top target to reinforce their defensive midfield position and led League One for tackles per game in 23-24. However, Ugarte failed to convince all at PSG after arriving from Sporting Lisbon last summer, and the French champions are prepared to sanction his sale. Now, I think that's slightly a bit disingenuous, because if anyone knows about Luis Enrique, he does not play with this type of number 6. He's not a fan of the destroyer. He's more a fan of someone who can do a job. And I think that's mostly why Ugarte has not been favored in that tenure. Now, during discussions with PSG have also expressed an interest in signing Jadon Sancho. The winger has returned to Manchester United following a loan spell with Borussia Dortmund, having rejoined his former side in January after a public fallout with Erik ten Hag. Now, Sancho said, Erik ten Hag said that they spoke well. Anyone can make a mistake. If the player reflects well on that, then you draw a line and you move on again. This club needs good players 100%. And one thing is for sure, Jadon is terribly a good player. I hope that it clicks and comes and that he will contribute to our success. And by this statement, I know a lot of people might not be thinking it's true, but it's my honest opinion that Erik ten Hag was always a fan of Jadon Sancho. It's one of the biggest reasons why he allowed him to leave for 3 months on leave to get his mental health in check, rejuvenate himself. And he also hired a team of coaches and specialists to work with him in that period of time to get all in the effort to get him at his best. So, guys, it's going to be interesting to see if this deal is struck. I would definitely be interested in this. Big up to you, Andre Phoenix, coming in. What have you missed? Have we gone in for Van der Sar yet? Well, I'm going to bring a little bit of an update on Van der Sar in the next 15 minutes, bro. If you're sticking around, I would give that information then. I just wanted to finish talk about the possible players that are leaving the club, if that's okay. Big up to you. Fulham have the Paulinho money, 100%. That's definitely going to be interesting in the terms of Scott Mctomminay. Let's see if they come in with a second bid. I'm hoping that they do. Big up and good morning to you, Tom Charlton. We're struggling to sell players. That's going to be a big problem. It is a slight issue, Tom, but I think Ineos have made a decision to take a loss on the players that we are planning to sell. It's going to be interesting to see how they get this deal over the line. But I'm guaranteeing to you that, I think they have earmarked these players and they have already decided that they will be accepting losses on the sales that they want to get out. And I think that's the best choice. Now, how many of these sales actually come to fruition? I would expect it to be 4 to 5, possibly 6, because as you know, Marcus Rashford and as well as Bruno Fernandes are definitely not going to be sold this summer. That's a bit unrealistic. We're not negotiating with PSG. Also, I have heard reports that if Bruno Fernandes is going to leave, it's going to take a monumental figure and offer to get him out the door. And I think it would be the same for Marcus Rashford, whether we like that or not. You know what I mean, my bro? But big up to you for your question. I think Scotty's an asset. He always puts in a shift, and we know how often he is a game changer. Well, you see, that's interesting, Lord Voldemort. I don't disagree there. But at the same time, if a good deal comes, I would certainly be taking it. Good morning to you, Kingdom FC, and I hope you are well, my brother. Wasn't able to get you on the live the other day, but tomorrow morning I'll be definitely opening up the lines. If you have the time, come in, bro. Brendan Chappelle is coming in. Juventus don't seem like a club that are willing to pay Sancho's wage demand. Well, I've been hearing reports on this, Brendan, and I think Sancho himself has been speaking to Juventus, and he was offering them a wage cut, and they were pretty much, in line with what they were talking about. So it's one of those things where it's possible that he might still go there, willing to accept a lower wage. It's going to be interesting to see if that happens. But right now, the most important thing is for us to focus on getting some of these players out of the door, as well as focus on getting some of our players in right now as well. Football Philosophy saying would love for Sancho to stay. He's the kind of player that we're looking to buy if he was at another club. And I mean, I totally agree with that. This is why we spent £75 million for this guy. But the biggest thing is that he needs to deliver. And that's the bottom line, my bro. There's nothing else but that. Big up to you, Jarvis, and good morning. Hope you are well. Morning and morning again. Big up, big up, big up. Ugarte is too expensive at the moment with PSG wanting the money for Zhao. I totally agree there. Ugarte would be a great trade for Jadon Sancho. 100%. Brendan Chappell, ETH is a professional. It's not really personal to him. Well, 100%. But I think always as a coach, I grew up with this saying, coach for a day, father for life. You know what I mean? So I think it's something that's always been a historical thing in all sports. And coaches, even though they are professionals, they tend to still have a sense of care for the players that they have with them in their teams. I think it's a natural thing, and I think it's just humane. You know what I mean? It's just how I look at it. But I could be wrong as well. Big up to you, Irfin Kadali. Good morning. Good morning. Ugarte 70 million, pay it. Well, I don't disagree with that statement, but I think United should be negotiating for the best possible deal as well. Let's get back into this article really quickly, and moving on from Sancho. It would be mutually beneficial for PSG to take him on. As we know, they just lost, Kylian Mbappe, so they're gonna need something of a booster to bring back, that X factor to PSG. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm hoping that we get some of these deals over the line in the next few weeks. I'm hoping we're not just using this period of time to fire the staff, because a little bit of an article I wanted to bring to you guys. I know it's not really based on the transfers, but it's about the United plan to push the redundancy and remove about 250 employees. So it kind of falls in line with what I'm talking about, in the terms that we're trying to get out players, but we're also trying to get out staff. And while United is about to embark on their tour, they're already pushing the plans with redundancy, and they're trying to see if they can get these, dwindle down the staff from 1,100 and they want to remove 250 members. It's going to be something like 850 actual workers for Manchester United by the time we return from the US tour. And that's really interesting to me, because you know what? It's never a good day when someone loses their jobs. And these people they're all working at Manchester United in whatever capacity they were as an employee. They did a job, and we should all salute them, because as a fan, I think each and every one of them was doing a job that, that gave us the reason to support and had us supporting over the last few years. And it's very sad to hear that, they're going to be moved on. But, there's also some reports in this report that is talking about the fact that some of these staff who are deemed as redundant, when the actual Wembley of the North, which Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to complete, is built, it's going to be something of a football entertainment venue, something like a Universal Studios Park, if you ever been there, or Disneyland, you know what I mean? But just based on football, with the pinnacle being the football field and the new stadium. But they're gonna have an opportunity to be the first workers employed in that situation. They will also be given the opportunity to help, in the creation of the entire situation. So it's one of those things where it's not that bad, but it's also kind of difficult. So moving on from that, guys, I'm gonna bring you, another story coming in right now. It's about a lot of the fans who are talking about him to this day. Right now, they're excited to have Fofana. And you know what, guys? I really think that, we need to be looking at this, because these is the problems that United are facing in the window, problems created by the old regime. And everyone is talking about Fofana to United, talks begin, the race is on. And true, we are in talks. We have inquired about Fofana, but, he was initially reported to be at 30 million, and that would have been a good deal to do. He was literally moments away from signing his deal with AC Milan when the club heard wind of Man United's interest, and the deal is stalled. Now, he has already agreed personal terms with Milan, and Milan, they won't put a bid in unless they actually have some confirmation on what is the price for the player. But now the Euro club is now asking for plus 17 million pounds to sanction the player's exit. So that means if you add this up, it's going to be somewhere in the region of 47 million pounds to get the player over the line. Now, this is not too far from the price of Manuel Ugarte, who's at 59. Now, it's like probably a 10 million difference, but that's going to be very interesting to see what we do, guys. Big up to you, Robert Taff. United need to level up. McTominay needs to go. Bruno still has got a lot to offer, especially with the right players around him. Big up to Lord Voldemort for that. Big up to you, Streddy Post. What's good? We are definitely going to be on that stream later on today, bro. I will see you there. I hope you're well, my bro. Yeah, very much so. Lots of work for Manchester United to do, guys. It's going to be a busy week this week. I think with the players on tour, there's going to be a lot of busy movements happening around the club. I think it gives them a lot more time to focus on outgoings, especially since the players who are going to be moved on will probably be on display. So there's probably going to be some interest. There's probably going to be some movement. Guys, do not fear. You know what I mean? I know a lot of you are panicking right now in this moment, but it's not that time yet. Let's get into this article about Fofana so I can clear up any of your doubts. Despite the report from Italy on Monday claiming Youssouf Fofana was virtually an AC Milan player, Monaco have seemingly paused the transfer proceedings to weigh up their options. And La Gazzetta dello Sport released an update last night which detailed just how advanced the French international's move to Milan was. He's already in the city attending their friend's wedding, while Gary Cardinal, the club's owner, flew in unannounced to meet directors and attend a brand event, right? After learning of interest from both Manchester United and Atletico Madrid, the Rossoneri stepped up their efforts to seal Fofana's signature before others had the chance. He had reportedly agreed a 4-year deal with the San Siro, with the board expecting him to officially put pen to paper in the next 48 to 72 hours. The report was released at 11 p.m. on July 22nd. Today is July 24th, guys. 24th. 2 days later. Now, Monaco increases price tag after United established an interest. Yet, Monaco have evidently had somewhat of a change of heart. While they were initially prepared to sell Milan's upfront fee of 14 million euros, 11 million pounds, they are now asking for an increased price of 35 million, 29 million pounds after being made aware of both United and Madrid are keen admirers of the midfielder. Fofana, 25, is out of a contract with the League One outfit in 2025, and Fabrizio declared earlier in the window he would 100% be leaving Monaco this summer. So, guys, if you understand, the initial fee was supposed to be for 11 million pounds. Now they're asking for an initial fee of 30 million pounds, meaning the total fee, which was discussed, was 30 million euros initially. Now they have, or 22.4 million pounds for the player. They have now retraced that and increased his price to 47 million pounds. Guys, what is happening? You know what I mean? Now, Youssouf Fofana is a very good player. I, however, think he's more of an 8 than a 6. He gets forward a lot. He's not that great in his defensive actions. It's been said that he loses the ball 14 times per game on average. So that means week in, week out, every game he plays, he's guaranteed to lose the ball at least 12 to 14 times. That's going to be very interesting if he can change that statistic. He also contributes going forward. He's a very good midfielder. He has a good engine on him, very energetic. So it's one of those things where, it's what we want for the midfield. I know Ugarte is our number one choice. There's also Zubamendi. The biggest problem with Zubamendi is that it's going to take a monumental figure to change his mind. I think United are in talks with his agent, and I think he is probably turning his head because of whatever they're offering him. But you guys probably shouldn't be mad if you hear him coming to United for somewhere in the region of 200,000 per week, because Zubamendi does not want to leave Spain this summer. He has reported on many occasions that he wants to play one more season with his boyhood club, and he would also prefer a move to the Spanish capital. Now, like Leny Yoro, I'm thinking Man United can convince him. Let's see how that deal goes. Big up. Lord Voldemort is still not convinced about Rashford. He's not been showing any form for too long now. Now, I have these same concerns, my brother, but at the same time, with the new contract that we gave Marcus Rashford, it's going to be quite unrealistic to get somewhere of a balanced fee for him in this moment. It's going to, if we're going to have to take our super heavy loss on Marcus Rashford, if we're going to have to move him out. And that's the interesting thing, guys. So Marcus Rashford, I would love to see him moved on to greener pastures. I would have hoped PSG would come in for him this summer, but I don't think United is going to accept anything less than 70 or 65 million pounds for the player. It's just difficult in that way. Irfan is coming in again. Is Man United have a new target today? No, well, we don't have any new targets. The option was Fofana that we have known for a couple of days now. Zubamendi was also earmarked as a sense. We know Manuel Ugarte. We have been in talks. We're still in talks with PSG for Manuel Ugarte. There's also Manchester United was trying to make a bid for Richard Rios, but as you know, we've learned that Palmeiras has a 90 million euros release clause. Sorry, guys. And they're not really interested in selling the player, so it's going to be a difficult deal to do. There has been some interest in a new left back and a new right back option as well. As you know, we've made a bid of £23 million for Kadioglu, but it has been refused by his club. Let's see if we go in with a second bid for the player. There's also interest in Mazraoui, but Mazraoui is a deal that with Bayern that, I think is going to face a little bit of competition, as West Ham are also interested in the player. So it might be a little bit more than initially priced. There's some reports that we could get Mazraoui for somewhere in the region of 20 to 25 million euros, but that might be rising if West Ham decides to come in and compete for his position. Now, West Ham also are interested in trying to get a loan deal at front with an obligation to buy. So it might be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe United changes tact. There's also some information coming out about Michael Coyote, the young Fiorentina right back. He is very, very good. He's almost, I would say, very much in likeness to Alphonso Davies, but the only difference is he can actually defend. He's just as quick. He's very good on the ball. He provides a lot going forward, and he's only he just turned 20 years old. How many days ago? Oh, 14 days ago. He's born on July 10th, guys, 2004. So it's interesting to see if we get any of these deals done. I know a lot of people are not talking about Michael Coyote yet, but wait for that information. The scoop is about to be released because it's going to be coming in soon. I think United might be thinking of him as a more serious option. His value is somewhere in the region of 20 to 25 million euros, which makes him pretty cheap compared to what we would be paying for other players right now on the market. Let's see if United makes that choice. And big up to you coming in, my bro. Fofana flop, I need Ugarte, 70 million, pay. I would agree with you 100%. Big up and good morning to you, Mark DVs. Big up, Mark. Are United going to get any new players this week? Well, Mark, there are reports coming in from Germany this morning, right at this moment. Updates are coming in that United are still locked in negotiations for Matthijs de Ligt. We're locked in negotiations as well for Ugarte, and we're still weighing up our options when it comes to Mazraoui. So there are deals to be done. That we have sounded our interest in Youssef Fofana as well. So guys, the tour has begun, but we don't leave the tour until the 4th of August. It's 10 days, right? United would definitely like to make an exciting signing to probably present on the tour while there. So let's see how it goes. I was always telling you guys within the next 72 hours, I was saying that since yesterday. There will certainly be some announcement coming in that will be breaking news. Now, the deals might have been seemingly delayed. It might seem like it's difficult, but sometimes a breakthrough comes. And why I'm saying this is because United are still in negotiations. It's not like we left the table. It's not like we stopped negotiating. The clubs are locked in negotiations as we speak. So it's definitely high chance we will be getting players in before Friday. Now, let's see how that goes. I can't say if it's going to be multiple or if it's just going to be one. But we know that we have already agreed terms with both Ugarte and Matthijs de Ligt. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. Big up to you, Turbo. Xavi Simons to United. Well, it's a loan deal. United are offered a loan to Xavi Simons with an obligation to buy. Everyone was reporting huge bid, 100 million euros. Well, guys, it might be somewhere more in the region of 80 million euros or 69 million pounds. And it's an obligation to buy, which we will be taking him on loan for this season. And I'm betting you there's a clause in that United could renege. So what I'm thinking is that Ruud van Nistelrooy was very, very, influential in Xavi Simons being an option. He has shown very high praise for the young player. As you know, he played for Ruud at PSV, having 40 goal contributions in that season. So getting him to Manchester United is going to be very interesting, guys. Let's wait and see how that goes. I'm thinking that's a very possible deal to do, because if not, he would have already been a Bayern player today. You understand? Bayern are still trying to negotiate for the player. He has, though, also, considered their personal terms as well. Almac is coming in. Pay Monaco the asking price for Fofana. Really? You want Fofana, Almac? You know what I mean? Okay. He's not a bad option, but if we get Fofana, we're definitely going to need a 6, because he's not a 6. He's an 8. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting. Let's see how that goes. Clubs hear our interest and double the prices. It always happens, right? But those are the clubs you want to avoid, to be honest. You know what I mean? Either because it's one of those things. Yo, Almac, I don't know who told you he's better than Amrabat. Maybe the only thing he has over Amrabat is his energetic ability. Amrabat's passing, his defensive actions is double what Fofana does, my bro. And even Casemiro is better if you look at the statistics. Now, I'm another stats man. I look at the eye, and I think Fofana looks good on the eye, so I would take him, because you know what? I think Casemiro has done a great job. He has made a major impact in 2023 season, but right now, it's looking long, bruv. It's looking long. Yeah, Irfan, I need a bad man in the midfield like Ugarte, 100%. Big up, Mark. How are you doing? Who's the next signing for United? Well, Mark, I don't know. I think it could be De Ligt or it could be Ugarte. With the news of Sancho being interested into the deal, I think it's going to be very interesting if he gets the move. You know why? Because I think Sancho, let's be honest, I would love for him to show up this season and smash it out of the park. I'm going to be honest and say that for Manchester United, because I think we spent 75 million and we have not seen the best of him in a red kit. But right now, if he does decide that Paris Saint-Germain is the deal for him and he wants to move on to there, I'm going to be like, cool, bruv. You know what I mean? Because then it helps us ease the deal with Ugarte. Maybe we give them Sancho and 10 and take Ugarte, or maybe give them Sancho and 20 million, take Ugarte. I would do that deal still, guys, because you know what? We would have gotten 40 million in effect for Sancho that no one has offered. So I would take that deal. Sonny Boy is coming in. Why are you saying that, bro? Like I don't know the guy, bro. I know he clearly has some of his own strong opinions on some players as well, but I've never really heard him say much of that, so I can't really just blindly agree with you saying that, my bro. Like, if you could explain to me why you think that, I could definitely find some viewpoints and agree in some points or something like that. Military George is coming in. What Nian? The Norwegian. Oh, you talking about Niang? Yeah, that guy. Oh, what's your song? Naipan. Naipan is the guy's name. Nipan. I think that's his name. The Norwegian kid from Rosenborg BK. He's an interesting talent. Manchester United have said to have a scout looking at him. We're waiting to see more information on him. I can't guarantee he's going to get an opportunity to come to United, but I can say if by the end of his season in the Norwegian League or the midway season when their transfer window reopens, then it might be a deal that could be done. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna give that maybe a 30% option because I did like the look of him. But again, United was not near their actual match fitness, so it's hard to say he would have had the same performance. Who is this coyote? Naipan. Naipan, yeah, he's the player. He's one of the top players coming out of the Norwegian league in this current moment. Very, very highly talented, rated young player as well, to be fair. How about Sancho for Xavi Simons swap? Well, you never know, right? It might be something that they can do. The biggest problem with Xavi Simons, Almark, is that Xavi Simons has this 50% clause with PSV Eindhoven. So PSG does not want to give them any money from a sale. And that clause expires on January 1st, 2025. So that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Xavi seems to want to stay at RB Leipzig. Yeah, I've been hearing some reports of this. You know what I mean? Let's see how that goes because as you know, he does favor Ruud van Nistelrooy advice and they have been in contact since he became a Manchester United coach. So it's going to be interesting to see if that deal is done. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I cannot say for sure, but what I can tell you guys, it's very possible that he can have his head turned by Manchester United. Kouyaté, yeah, a great young talent. Yeah, I've seen him. I think he's decent. It would be interesting to see what happens there. I don't know if Man United are actually looking at him, but maybe you should be giving him a look in, guys. You know what I mean? Like two of the targets we've been looking at all through the January window in Luis Guilherme, they have moved to English Premier clubs, as well as Oscar Zambrano. I know a lot of you has forgotten about the young Colombian talent. I heard he has a slight injury, but I heard he's making a move to a Premier League club as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if that deal is done. I've heard that Simons is over, and is that true? No, it's not over yet. It's something where he has liked his stay in Germany, but he's using this time to think about his options seriously before he makes a decision. Now the transfer decision is actually in his hands. Let's see how it goes. We know PSG doesn't want to pay any money to PSV. So it's definitely not going to be sold this summer, in my opinion, unless it's going to be for a large fee. Let's see how that works out, guys, to be fair. Casemiro's stats were better than Ugarte and Zubimendi as well last season. That's why we also need to use our eyes with the stats. That's the same thing I was saying, Royden. That's why I said, even though Casemiro's stats were better than Fofana, I looked at it with the eye and I think Fofana would be a good option to replace him because it's going to be long with his legs being gone, in my honest opinion. I think it's going to be players sold next. Yeah, this is my honest opinion. This is why I came out with this morning. This is why I'm bringing this update to you guys, because I think over the next 3 days for sure, you're going to see 2 or 3 players leave United. And don't be shocked if one of them is a player we didn't expect as well. That's maybe not even on the list. So it's one of those things. I heard some rumors about Mason Mount to Tottenham, Mason Mount being looked at by Newcastle as well. And we know Newcastle might be about to lose Bruno Guimaraes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. There's also some reports coming out that Bayern Munich are looking at him as well. Let's see how that goes, guys. I don't think we're going to sell the player. I think he wants to prove himself this season. He hasn't been fit to give himself a good account for his purchase last season. Let's see how the window goes. But I'm telling you guys, there's going to be some outgoings if an outgoing and an incoming possibly as well, because United are moving fast. We're still locked in talks. We have not walked away from the table, and as long as we're there, it's going to be easy. It's going to be something like that. Yo, with the FFP regulations currently, Royden, and with what our current budget is, we still have something like 90 million in the coffers, my bro. I did the math with you, right? We had 50 million before July 1st, and there's some reports that we have added 100 million to that somewhere, or maybe 80 million, something like that, to the figure after July 1st. It's why we started spending money. It's why you have seen that we are making bids. And the biggest thing about the bids we have made so far in the transfer window, we've only spent 34 million pounds. We spent $17 million, 17 million on Xerxes for his deal initially, and we've spent something like 15 million on the deal for Leny Yoro initially. The other 2 million was spent to put on to Newcastle for Dan Ashworth, and that's all spent so far this summer on the books. We still have a balance with the rest of money, guys. So it's not like we're actually broke, but we don't have a lump sum that we could dish out in this current moment. This is why some of the deals are being protracted, because we're trying to do amortized deals. We're trying to pay down and pay on installments. This is how we're working this summer. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a true red, man. So like I can't really say he's like that. I've never really heard it directly. You know, he's a little bit strongly opinionated, but I doubt that. Good morning to you, GB. Big up, my bro. Hope you're well. Hi, all friends. Big up this channel and all friends. Big up to you, Abdullah Irwan. Welcome, welcome, and good morning. What about the Chalaba deal? Well, the Chalaba deal is an interesting one. I've heard some reports that our scouts were looking at him. I heard some reports that, you know, we might possibly be interested in a deal, and that he's probably at a value of somewhere in the region of 20 to 25 million pounds. But if it's me, honestly, I'm going to say this. Chelsea left him on the tour and told him go find a club. If they want to get him off their books to United, we're going in with 15 mil, nothing more. Anything more, add-ons. You know what I mean? And if they're not doing it for that price, walk away. Walk away. Walk away. Because I'm not too sure about Trevor Chalobah, guys. I haven't seen too much of him. So I can't give him a high, rating. I can't give him a low rating. But what I can say is that Chelsea wants to get rid. And if they want to get rid, they're going to have to suffer the penalties of a low price. You know what I mean? They did us dirty with that Mason Mount deal. 60 mil, bro. Nah, bro. I'm not taking that one. Still hurts me right here. You know what I mean? Was Xerxes brought in to play striker or 10? Will he replace Højlund or Bruno? Almac, I think you're thinking a little bit too, too left or right, black and white, basically, in that situation. I think Xerxes has come in to complement both of them. I think Xerxes is going to be playing off of the wing in most of his starts. I think he's going to be playing at false 9 in some games to replace Højlund. And I think he might even play at the 10 as a substitute or to start some games to give relief. Now, I think this is because, they don't really trust the creativity of Mason Mount. This is why I think we were also trying to bring in Xavi Simons. And I mean, I'm just looking at it prospectively as who's the players that possibly supposed to back up Bruno, and the only one that comes to mind is Mason Mount. Now, I have not seen any creativity from him in the 20 games that he's played, all but an assist. Yes, he did score a goal, but at the same time, for me, it's like that's not enough creativity to replace Bruno with. You know what I mean? It doesn't work out well for us. We've seen United not create any options when he played instead of Bruno and when Bruno was out of the team. Now, it might sound like Bruno favoritism, but if we can get a player who's going to create a lot of chances for United, I wouldn't mind Bruno holding the bench, guys. Come on. Let's be real. I want United to win more than I want to see a player start. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's in the starting 11 for me, as long as United plays the best of their ability and they win the game. At the end of the day, it's about the squad, not really about a player. You know what I mean? In my honest opinion, if that answers your question, my bro. Hi, do you think Rashford will struggle this season? Yeah, and you want Rashford out. Yeah, I would also like to see Rashford go. I'm not too sure I can't guarantee that he will struggle this season, because if I look at his current track record, he's always had one good season, one bad season over the years. And last season was his 9 seasons, which was the odd one out. This season is number 10, the positive. So maybe he has a very good season. I would hope, for the sake of his career and the Man United fans who supported him all these years, he comes in and he smashes this season, and then we just sell him. That's my honest opinion. Big up to you, Mark. The Wizard is coming in. There's literally one player that has 60% chance Ineos might go for. There's zero under 30 players that are world class, and maybe one player under 23 or younger that's best in class. Interesting. As he's a good player, let's get him in. Big up and good morning to you, Johnson, Bobby Nwapa. What's good? What's good? As it, I wouldn't mind the signing, to be fair, but I don't know about the price. And I heard he's linked to Manchester City. It's going to be interesting to see if we go in for him. I wouldn't mind it, to be fair. I think he's a good option to have for your midfield as well. I love Casemiro. I still think he's got a season left in him for sure. Well, I'm a fan of him as well. And last season really kind of hurt the heart and hurt my thoughts on the player he was. Maybe it was the system, maybe it was just the team being unfit and exhausted from the season before. I don't know. So in one way, I hope he does well, but in another way, I want United to win, bro. I'm being honest. There's money where there's money there, and we're just being smart with it. No point in just signing players that aren't really suitable. 100%, bro. There are loads of CBs in Europe. Let's not fund rivals windows in the PL. Fab tweet. Let me check it out, bro. Let me check it out. I got 5 more minutes, guys, before I got to go. But let's check out Fabrizio Romano's tweet and see what's going on. Fabrizio Romano. Fab tweets. Let's see what he's tweeted. Understand, RB Leipzig are now confident to get the green light for Xavi Simons. Transfer battle with Bayern still ongoing, but Leipzig CEO Minslav pushing in talks to bring Xavi back. PSG have no plans to sell Xavi, open to a loan move, and RB Leipzig hope to get it done. Well, that's one of the tweets from Fab this morning, guys. Let me bring it to the screen so you guys can see. This is what's happening right now. I think that if this is the tweet you're talking about, Abdullah, Xavi Simons, it's a loan. So I think, if it's a loan option, why would he not come to the Prem, bro? Why would he not come to the Prem? Chelsea sold Mount to us. They could see he was spent 100%. Are we still on the Kadioglu deal? We have not made a second bid as yet after having the first bid of £23 million rejected. But I do know that we're heavily interested in him. So it's one of those things. Same story, Ugarte. Hold on, let me go back to Fab tweet. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Boom. Let me just double check this. Boom. Oh. Bang. Bang. Bang with Ugarte. Let's go. All right, so check out the update on Ugarte, guys. Let me just zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see. Manchester United remain in discussion with PSG for Manuel Ugarte after a green light from player and personal terms agreed last week. No agreement with the club between clubs yet. Man United also in talks to decide how to proceed on new terms with Fiorentina for Sofian Amrabat. So it's the same thing I've been saying to you guys earlier on. You know what I mean? Same thing I've been saying to you guys before when I was saying that, we are in talks. The deal is still on. We are not walking away, and once we're not walking away from the deal, that there's still some opportunities there. Exciting times, Lord Voldemort. Exciting times, exactly, my bro. Guys, don't forget to smash the likes while you're here. It definitely helps the channel grow. Make sure you get in the description. Hit the links for all the channels that are sharing here. Well, I'm streaming from Mark and MUFC fan, guys, so I don't know if you're watching on MUFC Realist or you're watching on my channel, or if you're watching on X. But guys, come in, smash the likes and subscribe to both channels. Show the love. Every single like you smash shares the channel to our next possible Man United fan or football fan, making them come to become a new member of the community, helping it grow. More ideas, more fun, more chats, more banter, and that's how we want to love it. Help the channel grow, guys, because I'm on the road to 1K. Help me get there, guys. Every line counts, and I hope you can help me. Thank you so much, guys, for that. Do we have enough homegrown players for the quota? Well, we've just promoted Toby Collier to the first team as a squad rotational player. That solves one of the homegrown quota options. Ethan Wheatley has also been said to be promoted as the third striking option for next season as a filler. Predominantly will be using Højlund as well as Xerxes. So there's going to be some little in betweens for him to get game time. So that's 2 for the quota. There's already some talks about an option for a third and a fourth youngster to be promoted into the first team as possible options off the bench and for the Carabao Cup. Now we might see something in the region of a Bennett or a Will Fish given that opportunity in defense to be the 5th or 6th string defender. It's going to be interesting to see if that happens because you know what? They also add to the homegrown quota, my bro. And there's also some interesting reports coming in about the possibility of one of our defensive fullbacks also being added to the roster. Now, it could be between Murray, Hamas, or Habib Ogunnayi. And my money is on Habib. I'm going to be honest, guys. I think Ogunnayi is going to be the one that might be given that option. He's a right wing back. He can also play right wing, and he can also double as a center back. And he can play in a back three as well. So that makes it really interesting. The guy is really talented. He's shown some definite improvement in his physicality over the summer. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. And we will be getting some news in the next few minutes. Big up to you guys in the chat this morning, and big up to you, Jamie Wayne. I hope you're well. I'm able to join today. Has it just started? The gym has you knackered, bro. Nah, man. Like, I started a little while ago, Jamie, so you might have to do a little bit of a watch back, but I'm going to give a summary in the next minute. I'm just going to go through and just double check the chat and remind everyone. Yeah, a lot of recycled stories, bro. Bring in 1K. Yeah, my bro, bring it in. Smash the likes, guys, and share it around. Help me get there, guys. We'll definitely be celebrating together. Smash the likes and subscribe to this channel, guys. It's a good community, 100%. Wizard is coming in. We need at least 2 academy players to fill in defense. Yeah, that's why I mentioned Bennett as well. You know what I mean? Habib Ogunnayi is a very good player. It's Ogunnayi, bro. Ogunneye. I guarantee you that's the way you spell his name, bro. I watch them every single week they have games, bro. Big up to you. I think, yeah, we already signed him, bro. He's going to be announced today. Chico Obi Martin is going to be announced today. The deal is signed. He's already agreed. The contract is going to be signed. You're going to see the pictures and the official release today. If not this afternoon, first thing in the morning. I can guarantee you that deal is done. Chido Obi Martin is signed. He's a United player now. The 16-year-old has agreed terms with Manchester United, and we have beat Bayern, we have beat Arsenal, we have beat Real Madrid. Everyone got kicked out the door. Right now, it's some kind of revolution happening in Manchester, guys, but big up for that. It's definitely going to piss them off, brother, because the deal is done. You're going to hear them crying all over social media today, and it's going to be tears of joy for Man United fans. Big up to all of you guys coming in. I'm about to give the recap, guys, because I really got to go. So check this out. Let's give the update really quickly, guys. I'm going to run through this really fast, right? Check it out. I'm telling you guys this morning, we are in talks. You know, we are in talks with Manuel Ugarte. We are still locked in talks with Matthias de Ligt. The options are still very much on the table for them. You know what I mean? In terms of incomings, there's also some contact made with Youssef Fofana and his camp. Monaco has increased his price from 30 million to 47 million pounds. So that's going to be a little bit of a more hefty sum that we have to pay if we want to get him in instead of Ugarte, which I think is not really the plan, but it might happen. Man United are said to be looking for 2 midfielders, not just 1. So we're still in conversation with Sofian Amrabat to bring him in for a lesser fee. Might be a loan with an option to buy next summer. So let's see how that goes. They're locked in conversations for that. Man United, in terms of outgoings, they are open to listening to deals for 8 players this summer. Anthony being one of them, a possible loan or a possible sale. You know, I think a loan might drop his value even further if he doesn't hit the ground running. But they're open to it. So let's see what happens there. You know, Mason Mount. There are some reports that United are also opening to offers from him. There is interest coming in from Newcastle as well as Fulham and Tottenham Hotspurs. Moving on from that, Jadon Sancho has said to have been very much interested in the prospect of an exit. He's kind of inclining towards the PSG offer. So let's see if that is a make way in the deal for us with Manuel Ugarte or possibly Xavi Simons. We could see both players go the opposite ways. Let's see how that progresses. Manchester United have dropped their asking price for Wan Bissaka in hopes to get him out as West Ham are lurking. Let's see. It's probably going to be in the region of somewhere between 10 to 15 million pounds, which is kind of disappointing. But, I think United have planned to take losses and get the deadwood out of the door. There's also some reports saying that we're open to hearing offers for Harry Maguire, who we expect to be in and have raised his value as well. So there might be an offer coming in from West Ham. They already bid 30 million last summer. Let's see what they do this summer. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the rest of the players that are up for sale. They are also Lindelof is also up for sale, possibly going to go to probably Galatasaray or Fenerbahce. We have known about their interest. It's something that they have announced. And Jose Mourinho is the one who brought him to Man United. He's now the head coach of Fenerbahce, right? So that's that. And bringing on some other information, Christian Eriksen has also been placed on the open to selling list. Let's see if an offer comes in from him. There's possibly going to be one coming in from Galatasaray or maybe even Spain. Or you might hear an offer come in from Como, but I know Italy doesn't really allow players with a PCR to play in their Serie A. So it might be Saudi Arabia if anything happens. We're still open to offers for Casemiro. His agents are still in talks with Saudi. Let's see how it goes, because you know how with Saudi clubs go. A company buys them and then distributes them to a particular club. So let's see how that works. We know Al Nassr and Ettifaq are interested in Casemiro. Let's see if he's moved on. There's also some other reports that Pellistri is open to the deal with Panathinaikos. So you might see that deal sped up and Pellistri out of the door this week. Pellistri is definitely open to the move. There are reports coming in. The former coach of Uruguay who promoted him to the senior setup is the head coach at Panathinaikos, so he might be willing to go there. It's going to be interesting to see if that happens as well. There's one or two other news coming in. There have been some reports coming in that, we might be interested in bringing in another defender, but I can't tell you. The right back that's been reported is Michael Coyote. He plays at Fiorentina, the Italian. He's a youngster. He's of African descent, but he plays for Italy, and he's very, very good. 20 years old, an amazing right back. I would profile him in similar fashion to the likes of Alphonso Davies because he's very quick. But the biggest difference is that he's an amazing defender. He is an amazing defender. So, guys, this has been my transfer update this morning. I meant to stay 35 minutes, but I'm here for an hour because I like you guys so much. And thank you so much for always supporting me, supporting the channel, supporting MUFC Realist TV, supporting Mark and MUFC Fan. Thanks so much, you guys, for always being here. Big up to all of you coming in. Randon Lewis, Mental Ball Game, Kazimia, Niall Kane, Football Philosophy, Lord Voldemort, Andre Phoenix, Tom Charlton, Kingdom FC, Brendan Chappell. Big up to you, Jarvis Cocker, as well. Big up, bro. Irfan Kadali. Big up to you, Robataf. Big up to you, Shreddy Post. Big up to you, Mark Davies, as well. Big up, Turbo. Big up to you, Almac. Big up to you guys, Sonny Boy. Big up to you, bro. Military George. Big up to you as well. Big up to you, Royden Frost, GB. Big up, guys. Big up the Wizard. Big up Johnson Bobby as well. I hope all you guys have a great day. Big up to you, Abdullah Irwan, as well. Jamie Wayne, can't forget you, my brother. No worries, bro. You know what it is. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will be catching you guys at the midday. I'm going to be live with Sal today on the Chatterbox. So, guys, check it out. I'm going to be streaming it to my channel as well. So, guys, come and join me. We're going to be talking mad things about football, just a bit of opinions, really, and what's happening today. And look out for the Eminem show, guys. It's going to be live this evening, somewhere in the region of 3 p.m. UK. Live, me and Mick Ruby, again, back, giving you the latest in the transfer updates and the breaking news. Mick has his ear to the ground, and he's been trying to dig up anything that's possible, and we'll be giving you all confirmations later on. Thank you guys again for joining me. Don't forget to smash a like on your way out, and if you have the time, watch the show again. Thank you so much. If you haven't watched it on my channel, just go over to my channel, guys. It's in the description. Mark an MUFC fan. Give it a little like and a little watch, and I'll be catching you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been your boy.